YouTube. How's it going, guys? You good? Welcome to the channel. Welcome to TPB's Tech-Bodge Emporium. Right, anyways, guys, this one is going to be a little bit different. I was watching a fellow YouTuber, goes by the name of Frogboy X1 Gaming. Go give him a follow. Look, his heart's in the right place most of the time. He has an interesting view on some stuff, and a lot of his stuff is kind of rage bait. But hey, look, he's entertaining in his own way. Anyways, on one of his videos, I seen a comment, a fellow person in the UK looking for a PC for around 1,500 quid. And with him being in the UK and Frogboy not, I thought I'd lend a helping hand, and I said I'd throw this video out there. So we're gonna address that. First, I did see that he'd sent a message. Let me just pull it up. I think Froggy said AMD was the way to go, but I like reliability and compatibility. It will be getting used for Assetto Evo and Arc Raiders and decent flight jet sims. Look, I've not played. I've played Arc Raiders, but I play on a 5070 Ti. I can't give you hands-on experience from the new generation of AMD cards. I have, however, seen nothing but good vibes from them. And I don't mean just from full-blown. I mean, let's be honest, Froggy was always going to suggest AMD. There's something about owning an AMD GPU that all of a sudden means that you want to suck on Lisa Sue's big toe. I don't know what it is, but I hope it's not catching. Anyways, look, I get your concerns, but from what I can see, most patches and stuff are patched up, and the problem that arises at the minute is that the GPUs that are in the same performance bracket as, say, 9070 XT, like all of them, like we're talking 4080, 4080 Super, 5070 Ti, they're the Nvidia cards that are literally on par, within 5% performance of each other, with those three Nvidia cards and the 9070 XT. All of those Nvidia cards are at least like 160 quid more money. And at that sort of price deficit, I feel like the price to performance it's hard to ignore, because like I said, certainly with everything moving forwards, I can see AMD really pushing FSR 4.1 into future games, and from everything that I've seen, and I mean, like I said, I'm not judging this solely on Frogboy's content. Andrew's alright, but he's a full-blown AMD fanboy, and even when he sees negative results from AMD, it's kind of comical to watch his thought process wrapping around it, and then have to just throw in some random dig to Nvidia to, I don't know, make himself feel a bit better. Anyways, the thing is that at the moment, AMD is the buzzword. I think CPU wise, it's kind of a no-brainer. But we'll get into that when I'm going through the specs and where to buy this stuff. But I just want to give you the opportunity to get your hands on something genuinely good at the best performance you can get for your money. And yeah, like I said, I've not played Assetto Corsa. I've thought about sim rig and stuff, but at the minute I'm on a 5070 Ti, so I'm not looking at changing my GPU anytime soon, so I probably wouldn't have much in the way of issues like that if no one's having any issues on Nvidia. Does not mean that Nvidia cards don't have their own issues when it comes to games. They do, and there are definitely games that play better on AMD cards than they do on Nvidia cards. It's just how it is. Like, some game engines work better with certain architectures, And AMD have really pulled their socks up with this generation, so I've got no problem recommending it. But again, with Assetto Corsa and decent fighter jet sim, what decent fighter jet sim? It could completely vary on what the engine that they're running the base on. You've got to remember, anything that comes from a console base is going to work better with AMD architecture in general because it's already set up for it. But yeah, like when it comes to like Assetto Corsa and stuff, you're gonna have to talk to the SimRig guys to see if there's any real issues. I've seen that there's been some reports of blackouts, screen blackouts and stuff when loading up map, and little crash outs and stuff, and like I looked at that and then I looked at the price difference, and it's like you are literally dropping like 25% performance to just literally hit the same price point with Nvidia. So to me, I think the 9070 XT is the best fit for your budget, and it also allows you to do whatever you want with the system. So if you want the system to be SteamOS, you can literally make it SteamOS. It's not going to complain about the system that I have set up there in any way, shape or form. If you want to go Windows, you're not going to have a problem. And the thing is, the rig I've designed is literally set up so the only thing that you actually really need to add in any time in the future is storage. That's pretty much it. The whole of the rest of the rig should do you for a good couple of years, good few years. Do you know what I mean? That was my whole thought plan around the build. Anyways, I've waffled enough about this, and I'm kind of throwing this video together, so hope you appreciate it. Mr. James Booth 9703. This configuration is for you, my friend. So yeah, should we jump on the PC and see what I've got laid out for you? And hopefully this helps you. Hopefully, but everything's gonna have links to it so that you can literally just order it if you want to. I'm going to give you reputable links to everything, and yeah, should we hop on over and see what I've got cooked up for you? Yeah, let's go. All right, okay, James, my good friend. We'll jump straight into it, shall we? We're going to start off with the build in question. As you can see here, I have literally configured this for you. I will leave a link for it in the description, and if anyone else is watching and wants the link, it's right there. We're going to go through the parts now. Now you'll see I've left the CPU blank. That was for a reason, but we'll throw it in for now. The CPU in question that I think that you should go with is the AMD 7700X. It is an 8-core CPU, 8-core 16-thread CPU, which is excellent for gaming. You'll get plenty of people that turn around to you and go, "Oh, just you don't need the 8 cores, just get the 7600X." There is nothing wrong with the 7600X, but at the end of the day, like, you're just getting more performance out of the 7700X. In gaming, they're going to be fairly close because their single core speed is practically the same. So before we go further through the build, I'll just quickly jump through some comparisons here. So this is the 7700X, which I recommend you, up against the CPU in the PS5 Pro. As you can see, on both single core and multi-core accounts, it is double the performance, so no comparison. Next up, we've got here the 7700X versus the 7600X. As you can see, in single core, they're practically the same. 7700X just takes the edge of it, but you're getting essentially another 20% in multi-core. So in your price budget, I'm trying to set you up in a system that you literally are not going to have too much trouble with moving forwards, you know. Obviously we're stepping up, so we've got the 9600X here, so it's essentially the same. It's got a little bit better single core on the 9000 series over the 7000 from AMD on AM5. So it's got a little bit more clock speed, but essentially you're in the same sort of boat. They just gave it a bit more clock speeds. And then for some sort of level of comparison, this is the 7700X versus the 12900K. Essentially, you just gain an extra 20% on multi-core on the 12900K, but in single core, they're essentially the same. If anything, the 7700X takes a little bit of an edge, which means that they perform in game very, very, very similar. And I know it doesn't have the X3D buzzword attached to it, but for a couple of quick examples in gaming, so this is the 7700X on the right here, up against the 5700X 3D. In almost all cases, you will gain a little bit more performance, maybe 10-20% performance on the 7700X. This isn't my video. This is I'm just literally just clicking through, so you can see in the middle here there'll be a comparison. The 7700X is always on the right, and it is the, I know it's behind my head, 5700X 3D on the left. So as you can see, they are the gaming performance. The 7700X takes it, like, each time. So it's kind of a no-brainer on there. And then obviously you got the next generation. What are you gaining from that? Now you do gain the 7800X 3D. The 7700X is essentially a 7800X 3D with slightly higher clocks and doesn't have the big V-cache attached to it. But the thing is, like, obviously Apex is locked out anyway, like, that'll be hitting an engine cap. But, you know, Fortnite, what's the difference? 40 FPS? When you're already at 440 FPS anyway, you ain't noticing that extra 30, 40 FPS. You're not noticing it. And it's the same goes, like, there will be occasions where, like, look at that. CSGO or CS2. It's again 50 FPS. You're not noticing that because you're already at 847. So, like, it's like, yes, the X3D does give a gain, and it is impressive stuff, but the fact of the matter is the price difference between the two CPUs is like 150 quid. So you're paying 150 quid for an extra 50 to 100 FPS. There is some games where you're going to get that big jump of 100 FPS, but again, you're at a point where you're above 250 FPS anyway, so it's kind of like diminishing returns. Yes, you're getting an extra gain, but is there any point to it? And in your price budget, no. This is, like, to me, this is quite possibly the best performance spec you can get for 1500 quid. So we've got the 7700X. Cooler wise, you could go with something cheaper. I just thought, with the aesthetic of the build that I've gone with here for you, this is all of the Thermalright 360 AIOs, all but like one or two of them work really, really well. And I just thought this Warframe one was pretty cool with a little CPU screen on the front of it. And at the price point, you can't really complain. Again, with this CPU, I would go in here and I'd probably just order it from Amazon, because you're already ordering a load of stuff from Amazon anyway, and I don't know what that box company is. I've not used them, so I don't trust them, and I'm not going to recommend them if you can get it from Amazon for an extra 30 pence. So yeah, I would recommend getting the CPU from Amazon if you're going to go that way. There is ways to trim off bits of money off this, but not a huge impact, which you'll see after. But moving forwards, I went with this Gigabyte B650 Eagle ATX. Couple of reasons. One being it is actually genuinely cheap, so it's only 100 quid. But also, you know, it comes with 3 M.2 slots. So you got 3 spots for storage. So you got upgrade for 2 spots anyway. It comes with 4 slots, It's got decent cooling on the VRMs and stuff, and it comes with 4 full slots. The I/O for its price, from what I can see here, it comes with Wi-Fi, probably 6E. I think this is a 1 gigabit port though, but we're in the UK. Like, you have to be pretty fucking lucky to get better than 1 gigabit of internet in the UK anyway. So if you're networking, maybe you want to switch, but at the end of the day, the board comes with 4 full size slots, so you've got plenty of space for you to make that decision. Plus the case will give you enough space as well. Moving onwards, I've literally selected up a kit of 32 gigabytes. This is literally the cheapest kit there for the speed and timings. So 6000 CL30. They're not amazing, but straight from Silicon Power, you could pick them up for 330 quid. Not an amazing price for RAM, but I wanted to set you up with decent RAM that's going to work with pretty much anything you throw it with. It's got good quality timings, and it's 32 gigs, so you're not going to run out in any kind of hurry. You can save yourself some money and go with a 16 gig, only 16 gigs, and then you could maybe add it to something else. But to be honest, you would have to trim a few things back so that you could step up, say, the GPU. So it's one of those things. Storage wise, this is essentially one of the fastest drives that I could find in the price bracket. Storage is pretty shit at the minute, but it's a 1 terabyte drive. It's Gen 4. I think it's like 5,000, around 5,000 mega transfers a second. So it's a fast enough drive, and it's going to do a decent enough job. It's also got a cooler strap to it, so you could put it in one of the emptier slots in the bottom and keep that top slot easily accessible for when you want to upgrade. So that's why I went with this storage. It's nothing fancy, but it's a fast drive, and it's fairly cheap, and it was in budget. The GPU I've opted to go for is this XFX Swift Radeon. It's just quite a clean looking card, and for everything else that you will see when you get to the case, you will see. But for everything else that I've selected in this build, I think this card would look really genuinely quite good with it. So, and also it's a 600 quid card. And like I'm saying, the other cards, the cards that are close to it, are like 800 quid. The closest you can get to the price on Nvidia at the minute is like maybe a second-hand 12 gig 4070 Ti for basically that money. Maybe a little, maybe £10 less, £10 more, but you're losing like 20% performance just to have a 12 gigabyte Nvidia card. It just, for me, it makes no sense, but that can be your call. The case, right? In all honesty, we'll just skip the case quickly because this doesn't take much talking about. At the end of the day, I trust overclockers. Power supply is a power supply in it. It was decently priced, and it's 850 watt bronze for 70 quid. That's kind of why it's there, to hit the price bracket. I also, like I said, wanted things in shopping area that I somewhat trust. You'd be okay ordering a cooler and a motherboard and storage from Amazon. You're going to be okay ordering a GPU, a case, and a power supply from overclockers. You're also going to be okay ordering a CPU from Amazon as well. I don't know who this box is, so go with the Amazon link. An SP. Like, I trust these people. I trust Silicon Power to sell you a Silicon Power kit of RAM, you know. So the case, right? I kid you not. Yeah, we're going overclockers so I can look at and show you this case properly. This case is $29.99. It's $29.99. It comes with 4 fans, 4 ARGB fans. It looks like it's got decent enough airflow through the front there. It looks a decent size. And if you look on the top here, It is set up for a 360 radiator there. It is also set up for a 280 radiator. Look how far forwards it's set up as well. It's got decent I/O on the case. And we'll go inside now. Let me click on it. Hold on. Another feature I want to point out here. See these removable PCIe slots? Removable. So not even snapping. But this is at 30 quid. Right? Look how much space there is up there. And obviously with it being offset, it's probably not going to impede on the motherboard or the RAM. And spoiler, here's one with a radiator and fans in. And look how far away from the motherboard it is. So you can throw a real thick boy in there, like, and it's not going to impede on your RAM or anything like that. To be fair, this case looks genuinely quite good to build in. There's plenty of backyard space, and obviously they're going to be cheapish fans. But if you think about it, you'd have those 3 fans in there, that one there, you'd have the 3 on the cooler at the top there, and that jet black sharp edge GPU would look so good in there. And it's got a swinging glass door. Like, I mean, a swinging tempered glass door and all this with decent airflow, and it's even blocked off there, so you wouldn't even hear the fan of the power supply. All of that. It's so funny because that's almost the power supply that I've selected. But all of that for 30 quid, guys. Like, it's difficult not to suggest. I find it difficult at the moment to even suggest another case, because it for 30 quid it looks really, really decent to build in. Plenty of airflow. You fit friggin' everything in there, and I think this build would look genuinely really good in there. Like, genuinely really good. And like I said, what I will do is I'll leave a link to this description. A link to this list in the description. This would cost you $15.08 before shipping, $15.15 with shipping. Can you trim that money off? Yes. Yes, of course you can. But it's little bits here and there. Like, for example, you could go to CEX, which has 5-year warranty on its goods, and these LGA socket CPUs are pretty goddamn tough, to be fair. And also, I know that CEX use a visual inspection when they take CPUs on, so they probably expect a percentage to not work when they're actually thrown into someone's system, so they're not going to have any problem with just swapping you out for another one if there's any issues. And like I said, 5-year warranty, and it's not something that you have to send back to the manufacturer or any of that. It is just genuinely get to walk into a store. Here, oh, we've got one in stock. Do you want that one? It's that kind of swap. Like, so you can save yourself like 8 quid on the CPU by just going CEX for it. Usually they're more of a saving, but at the minute, with the way prices are, the prices in CEX fluctuate. And to be fair, this is a bit more of a bougie way of buying a used products. It's just, you know, it's available in it. Like, and you're only going to save like maybe 5-6 quid on a freaking GPU on a 9070 XT in here, which is another reason why I'm suggesting it. The thing is, on the Nvidia side, really, you're looking at a 5070. That's what you're looking at as the alternative to this 9070 XT. On the platform side, you don't make any. On the platform side, you're not making any real savings. Going with Intel. Not when you're paying it 180 quid for a CPU that's as strong as the 7700X. And also, you're also on a platform that is the socket does support at least the next generation that hasn't released yet. So you have to keep that in mind. On Intel, there's no guarantee of that happening. But over on AMD, on AM5, there is at least one more platform, one more gen coming to that platform. If not 2, but there's at least 1. So you have that in your ballpark as well. So that future on down the line, if you want to swap out your CPU, you could just swap out your CPU. A little BIOS update on the motherboard, swap out your CPU. That's why I'm telling you to go AM5, especially at a £1,500 budget where you can really genuinely afford to make those extras. But if you want to save a little bit of money and try and squeeze an Nvidia card like a 4080 Super second-hand or a 5070 Ti, they're roughly around about the same price. You're looking at like 800 quid. It's tough at the minute, especially on the decent end of Nvidia, because you're looking at a 5070 otherwise. At the end of the day, yeah, a 5070, we're on Tech Power up here, a 5070 is literally 20-25% slower than a 9070 XT, which is within a few percent of a 5070 Ti and a 4080 and a 4080 Super. The 7900 XTX is also in that group, but the only reason I didn't mention it before is because I was talking about Nvidia cards. But the closest to it, price-wise, is a 4070 Ti, which is essentially a 5070. So, like, for me, as a recommendation, I just feel like that performance gap to the money is just not worth the saving. Like, don't get me wrong, you could probably get a 5070 for maybe 50 quid less, 50, 60 quid less than you could get a 9070 XT for. But unless you're going to trim everywhere, here, there and everywhere to get that price down, like I said, if you want to be just bang on 1500, if you want to be bang on 1500, get everything on this list and get your CPU, the 7700X, get that from CEX, and you will basically be bang on 1500. Maybe it's worth spending the extra 8 quid to get the CPU from Amazon and have that little fallback. That's your decision. But I will leave a link to this list in the description for you. And hopefully this has helped you out. We can only hope, can't we? Oh, Froggy replied, absolutely, help him find something awesome. Hopefully James, hopefully this sorts you out, like, because I feel like you're put off by the idea of AMD in the same way most people are put off by the idea of AMD, and I feel like some of it is a bit dated, genuinely. I think some of it is caused by AMD fanboys. They waffle so much at times that it makes it difficult to believe when they're being honest, because they wrap their so much bullshit round stuff usually that when they're being honest, it's like, you know, cry wolf too many times, people don't fucking believe you, do they? Like, so it's, but when it comes to like sim stuff and stuff, you're gonna have to ask Froggy or maybe a couple of other content creators, because I've not done any of that. I don't know about the integration with them and AMD. I would love to have a 9070 XT and be able to compare these two cards up against each other. Mentioning my 5070 Ti real quick, I've got everything for the customization side of the modding on or ordered and stuff. I'm just waiting for it all to arrive so I can do the video. Also, there's a couple of tweaks to the modifications I want to make to improve cooling. Well, I think it's going to improve cooling, so I'll be going through that. So that video is going to be coming up in the next week or so. I will try and get some other stuff out, but hopefully, James Booth 9703. Hopefully this helps you out. Hopefully this helps you out massively. Do you know what I'm going to do? What I'm going to do is I'm going to literally put the CPU in the list. Right, okay guys. And James Booth 9703. Hopefully this has helped you out. Hopefully this helps someone out. Like I said, I'll leave a link in the description down below. Do you agree with this list? Do you like what you see on here? Is there anything that you would change? please jump up in the comments. Let me know. I would love to hear what your opinion is. Everyone's allowed their opinion, and I love to hear the different ones. Is there things you disagree with, things you agree with? Is there something you would do differently? How impressed are you with the Co-Link Unity lateral ARGB case at the minute for 30 quid? Holy crap. Do you think, like me, that this combination of hardware would genuinely look really good in this case? Let me know. And JB, let me know if you go through with this, or if AI did a better job. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Love you, bye. Like and subscribe. Thank you.